Aren't all of us created in the image of God? Why do we have so much hatred and judgment and finger pointing, so many social divisions? Hi, I'm Eileen Floyd, your life coach. Ever had a knife in your heart? We all have had that experience, and not much fun. Usually, the knives have specific names. I'm going to talk about one in particular. Its name is betrayal. Betrayal can come from only one source, and that's someone whom we love, whom we care about. In Psalm 55, it says, I could have borne it, but it was you, my familiar friend, the one I walked in counsel with and walked into the house of the Lord with. Betrayal comes from those who are in close relationship with us. That's why it hurts. If it's a stranger, if it's a coworker we barely know, if it's a guy at the gas station who flips us the bird, that is not going to devastate our day, because that's someone with whom we have no bond, no relationship. But when someone is allowed into your inner circle, and you know whom I'm talking about, it could be your dearest friends, it could be the people that you go to church with and fellowship with and hang out with, it could be co-workers that you've gotten to know over the years. When they turn against you for whatever reason, sometimes the betrayals are a shock. They're a surprise. We don't even see them coming. In fact, usually that's part of the pain of betrayal. It's sudden, and it hits like a knife in your heart, and it takes your breath away. We know this is going to happen to everyone because God made us in His image. We're meant to love. And where there's love, inevitably, the devil is going to attack those relationships. And one of his favorite weapons is division, which means he'll try to get them to turn on you, to get offended, to turn their heel on you, as Scripture says. In Micah 7:6, we're told that usually a man's enemies are those of his own family. So you see, there's two categories of people we care about who can betray us, who can reject us and wound us and leave us behind bleeding. One group would be those who are close inner blood relationship circle, and the other could be those who are our friends, our companions, people who we've opened up to and shared our secrets with, especially for women, because women need those friendships to sustain themselves. That's the way we're wired. In Matthew 10, Jesus said, brother shall rise up against brother to the death. It says that parents shall do this to their children. And then he added that children would rise up against their parents. And right now, this is a phenomenon going on in our own country and in many countries around the globe. So this is what I want to Z in on. For a parent to betray their child, how can they do that? When children are neglected, when they are abused, when they're not wanted, when they're aborted before they even have a chance to survive, when they're told their entire lives that they're worthless, useless, of no value, when they don't meet the performance standards of demanding parents who are more aware of how their kids appear than what condition their hearts and their souls are in. Can a parent betray a child? Absolutely. We just use the words abuse and neglect and abortion. Can an adult child rise up against their parents or even a teenager? Yes. This is a growing phenomenon, particularly here in the United States and in Western Europe. A little more than a century ago, it was unthinkable that an elderly parent would have to go into an assisted living facility or a retirement home. They didn't even have them. Why? Because it was just a given that children would take care of their elderly parents. So grandparents, those over 70, 80 who could no longer work, they had nothing to fear because their family would make sure they had a home, they had a roof over their heads, they were fed, they were loved, they were part of a family unit. Look at the dramatic shift in society just in the last century. Now, assisted living facilities and nursing homes are popping up all over the country because kids don't want to be bothered taking care of their parents. The other category, brothers turning against brothers. Well, aren't all humans brothers to one another? Aren't all of us created in the image of God? Why do we have so much hatred and judgment and finger pointing, so many social divisions? Why do we have one political party raging and condemning the members of another political party, this crossfire finger pointing and rage and anger? This is demonic. This is a weapon devised against not just our country, not just the United States. It's formed and aimed against the world. It's aimed against all of society because remember, the devil comes to steal and to kill and to destroy. So what does he want us to do? He wants us to betray one another and deny one another the respect and the dignity and the honor we should extend each other as human beings. Are we really walking in love? I don't care what your political persuasion is. You can disagree with me. I'm fine with that. But why would you hate me or repudiate me if my beliefs don't line up with yours? So, returning head on to this topic of betrayal, I think it's widespread in families, destruction of friendships, in the division of countries, global warfare and strife and conflict. But the source, the cause, all comes down to one common denominator. The common denominator is always Satan. It is always a demonic plot to divide humankind, to separate humankind. Let's take a stand against it, and let's each search our own hearts and make sure that we are not being a party to this on any level. Look for that judgment inside our hearts. Look for those roots of anger that would make us point a finger at anyone and say, well, I'm having nothing to do with you because, and fill in the blank. Aren't we supposed to be walking in the path of the one who is our master? Did he do that? No. If this helps you in any way, I would invite you to hit like, share it with friends, and subscribe. And for any who'd like to contact me on a personal level, and I welcome that, please look at the website that is posted on the screen, and you are cordially invited to reach out to me on that website. Remember, above all else, why do I share these things with you? Because you matter.